Another brick fan with a LEGO Star Wars set. This is Luke Skywalker's Landspeeder. This is set 75271, was released in December 2019, has 236 pieces, 3 minifigures, and cost about $30 when it was released. There's been many of these Landspeeders released over the years. 3 of them as standalone sets. I have an older version of this Landspeeder, and as well as 2 variations in some Mos Eisley Cantina sets as well. And I believe there was one in an advent calendar, and I think there's a Landspeeder keychain as well. So a very popular vehicle from the Star Wars universe. We'll take a look at the minifigures here in a couple of minutes, but let's take a look at the Landspeeder itself. I think this Landspeeder is really nicely done. I like the fact that they have all 3 engines kind of built the same way. Quite a lot of stickers used on this. So there's stickers around each of the engines or thrusters around every side. There are stickers here in the front and on the sides as well, which I think turned out okay. The interesting use of this skate piece here in this bright silver, just as a little greebling. This has been done with the flexible tube pieces and things like that in the past. At least they are on the set that I have previously built for the Landspeeder. The shaping, as you can imagine, is pretty similar. They had a little exposed circuitry down here done with a sticker, and then there's a control panel here. As you can see, this is a European style Landspeeder, since the driver's side is on the right here. I suppose that's easy enough to switch if you want, but this is the way it was shown in the directions. I do like the way they built the seats. So they have this 2x2 with just the 2 studs as a typical, that's a typical way to mount minifigures in some of these vehicles, but I like how they built this up with these quarter rounds, the little bar piece, and then the inverted tile here. Makes for a nice little seat here with the seat back, which I thought turned out really nicely. It is interesting that this didn't come with R2-D2 and Obi-Wan Kenobi, because those 2 were definitely, well, I suppose it was Ben Kenobi, but those were all 4 of those characters were kind of pivotal to this scene and used in with this speeder. Each one of these little pods here are slightly different. So these 2 are the most built up, and then this one has some extra stickers on it. And this one here on the other side is kind of cobbled together. You see there's some gaps in it and then some exposed wiring and stuff. So making it very authentic, right? This is just something that was kind of cobbled together by Luke as, you know, his primary means of transport. Some good building techniques to create this good-looking speeder. I think the colors are nice. So this nougat color, the dark red, and the grays all work really well. Looking on the bottom here, there are some of these inverted tiles here on the bottom to help it slide across a surface quite well. You can see the stud on the side construction here that helps build this up. You can move the engine out of the way, and then inside here is a pair of binoculars. So there is a little bit of storage in here. There is also a clip on the other side, so there's this longer rifle piece, which kind of reminds me of one maybe a Tusken Raider would carry, not necessarily Luke, but obviously this is from A New Hope before he carried around a lightsaber as his primary weapon. So that's probably accurate for this particular set. There's this other small little cave piece done in this tan and then the nougat colors with one of these brush pieces in the nougat color, kind of as a desert piece. So this is just a little kind of a cave, which allows you to kind of hide the Jawa in the back here. So you can hide the Jawa inside that little cave. But it's interesting because the Jawas was hidden there to grab R2-D2, which is not included with this set. Now that I've harped on the lack of minifigures, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual minifigures that come with the set. As I mentioned in the opening, this set includes 3 minifigures: Luke Skywalker, C-3PO, and a Jawa. Past versions of this set have also included R2-D2, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I've even seen some with some stormtroopers instead of the Jawa. Regardless of that, these 3 minifigures are pretty good. Here's Luke, and I really like this poncho-like look here. It's done in this nice soft fabric. I think it looks really good. You have a pretty typical look for Luke with his white robe and the belt around. I think they did a good job at matching up the leg printing with the torso printing. I think that turned out quite nicely. His face is good, and this is the typical Luke Skywalker hairpiece. C-3PO is done in this nice pearl gold. Nothing unique here, but I think, it's a good representation of C-3PO. The printing is very good, shows off his exposed wiring around his waist. It does match up pretty well on the leg printing as well. And this Jawa is done really nicely as well with, this hood piece that he wears. The minifigure head is just the black with the glowing eyes, which I think is absolutely accurate for these Jawas. He's got the bandoliers here and kind of a tattered robe that he's wearing. No side printing on any of these figures. But as you see, the bandoliers on the back of the Jawa are still printed there, which is nice. We have the back printing for C-3PO, which is good. Luke has an alternate expression, as you see here. And then the back printing for Luke here is good and is very consistent with the front part of his robes. So 3 solid minifigures for this set. I think we have probably seen all of these or very close approximations to these in other sets throughout the years, so I don't think any of these are exclusive, but they are good and accurate for this set. So let's go back and I will give you my final thoughts on this Landspeeder set. Overall, I think this is a very nice representation of Luke's Landspeeder. I certainly like the shaping of the Landspeeder. It's built very similar to many of the others that have been offered over the years. I like the little storage area back here. The engines all are built so they look similar, but then they also look like they're kind of cobbled together, which I think is a good look for this particular piece. This little side build with a Jawa is fine. It's just that, a side build, just a few extra pieces in there to try and add to the value. I would have liked to have seen a couple more minifigures with this. In fact, if they would have included maybe a Stormtrooper, because I know some of the other sets they included Stormtroopers as well as Ben Kenobi and R2-D2, so maybe 3 more minifigures would have really rounded this set out, and I might have even paid another $10. So at $40, that might have been a good value. As far as the value of this, I always expect the price per piece count to be higher in these licensed sets, particularly Star Wars and Marvel. Anything Disney, really. So I'm not surprised that you get the over 10 cent per piece price here with 236 pieces at $30. The 3 minifigures are good. I do like the minifigures. As I pointed out when we were looking at the minifigures, I like the Luke Skywalker figure. I think it's a good young-looking Luke. And I do like the poncho because he did wear that while he was on Tatooine through parts of A New Hope. So I think that was a good choice to include that with this set. My overall thought on the value is this is what I would expect to pay for this size of a licensed Star Wars set. So having said that, it probably is a little bit high. Maybe one more minifigure would have made it that $30, and then, like I said, with the 3 extra minifigures, I would probably think $40 was fair for it. Hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this Star Wars set. I'm going to get started on my next video. And until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to see more of my content. I've left a link to my Star Wars review playlist up here on the screen.